You are going to create some 3D text in this challenge. Let's start by creating a new file in Photoshop. We are going to give this a specific size. Over here on the right hand side, I want you to notice that you can obviously type in the amount, but here you can change it between pixels, inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas. We want pixels. And the number of pixels we want is 1280 by 1024. We're going to keep it at 300 pixels per inch, RGB, and really it doesn't matter what background we have because we're going to put something on it in a minute. So you'll find in the Campus Share Drive a file called Gradient BG or Gradient Background. You will go to File and Place Embedded. And I want you to realize that the difference between Place Embedded and Place Linked, if you choose Linked, it gives you a smaller file size. But if you move your files around and then it can't find it, it has to be able to refer back to it. So we're going to go ahead and sacrifice and make the file size a little bit bigger by choosing Embedded. Now, mine is on my desktop already, the gradient background.jpg. Again, you're going to find it in the Campus Share Drive. So once you put it in, it should fit the stage. If it doesn't fit the stage, then you know that you can select both and use your align tools to align it to the middle, but it should have done it automatically. We're going to go ahead and use the horizontal type tool, and you're going to need to pick a thick thick font. I am going to choose Impact, and for this one I'd like you to go ahead and choose the same one. If you after the fact want to try it with a different font, go for it, but let's start with Impact now. The color of it should be a bright yellow. Doesn't have to be exactly the same as mine, but bright yellow. And you can either type your first name, your last name, Lamar, Mustangs, something like that. Once you type it, you'll want to obviously adjust the size of it so that it fits the screen, kind of like this. You might adjust the vertical size, the vertical scale a little bit, make it a little bit taller. Okay, so that's right about where you want it, and it's more or less in the center at the moment. Again, we could select everything and align it to the center to be exact if we wanted to. Alright, so next thing I want to do on my text layer is I want to go to the Edit menu and I want to transform. Now, I'm not wanting to scale this, so that's why I didn't do Control T. I want to actually skew it. Okay, so skew is going to allow me to drag the top left corner to make, and I'm dragging it straight left, and it's going to allow me to do it straight left if I hold down my Shift key. Okay, and I'm just trying to give it a good lean like that. And once I have it leaning, I'll definitely want to go back and align it and bring it back into the center of the page again. And now that you have that, select just the text layer, make sure you have the Move tool, and if you hold down the Alt key and use the down arrow on your keyboard, it will duplicate and nudge the layers. So you want to wind up with about 20 layers. So that means 19, well, maybe I'll go ahead and I'm going to bump it up to a 22. Okay. Now, with that, I need to drag my original layer. I know it's my original layer because it doesn't have any copies on it. I need to drag that to the very top. Okay, and I'm going to leave that one alone. And then I'm going to choose all the rest of those text layers. I want to rasterize them. So I'm going to right click, rasterize type. Then I'm going to merge them into one. Okay, this one is still up here. That's going to stay there. That's my original. And on the merged layer, I'm going to add a layer style. So I'm going to double click. My layer styles pop up. I want to add a gradient overlay. And on this gradient overlay, I want to move this angle around to see what the best angle is going to be. I'm going to put it at 0, I think. I want the gradient style to be linear. Notice that you have several options in this drop-down list. And I then need to click on the color picker here to open the gradient editor. Now, you have various colors here in the gradient editor. You can also download more from this little gear. However, we have some specific colors that we're going to put in. So if you look down here, right now we have a gradient and it has 2 color stops, 1 and 2. They're both white. So if I double click on that first one, it's going to open a color picker where I can put in a hexadecimal number. Hexadecimal's down here with the hashtag. And it's going to be 082026. And I'm going to click OK. Then I am going to have another one right about here. And in order to add a color stop, I just click in the gray area below the color bar. Okay, so if I click here, it adds another color stop. And then I can double click to open it. This one is going to be 274851. Okay, so you can see what's happening is I'm using some of the colors from that background image. The next one, right about here, a little bit left of center. This number is going to be the same as the first, 082026. Then a little bit left of center, or sorry, right of center, add another one. This one is going to be 23645C. And one more right about here. 274851. And then the last one that's already there, we'll go ahead and double click. This one will be 23645C. Okay, and then we can look at it and we can spread these out a little bit. We want to try to space them out pretty evenly. They don't have to be exact, but move them around to space them out as best as possible. Okay, and once you do that, click OK on that part, and you can see the gradient building underneath your letters. And if you don't, just hit that preview button right there so that you can see it. Okay, and we are also going to add a stroke, and our stroke is going to be 2 pixels, and we are going to choose to make it inside, and the blend mode should be normal, and the color should be white. So I put in 3 Fs and click OK on that. And OK one more time. Now that looks pretty good. You can see the depth, giving it the illusion of the third dimension. However, we can do even more. So I am going to choose that original layer at the top, and I'm going to duplicate it. So I can right click, duplicate layer. There it is. Okay. I am going to add a layer style to this layer. Double click on it. And this one is also going to have a gradient overlay. Now, because we just did a gradient overlay, it's choosing all of those same settings. Okay. This one is going to have an angle of 0. It's going to have a linear gradient. It's going to have slightly different colors though. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this gradient editor. And we're going to have 5 different colors. And if you look, we have 6 stops. So the way you get rid of one is to drag it up into there. Okay? So the color stop on the left is going to be 0, C, 3, 5, 4, 5. This one, which I'm going to move over a little bit, is going to be 5, CB, FAD, and I'm going to click OK. This one is going to be 236, 46C. Click OK. 5CB, FAD again. And the final one, 236, 46C. And I'm going to click OK. 2 of them are going to be on the left. 3 of them are going to be on the right. Space them out a little bit. Click OK to commit it after you've moved them around a little bit. And we're going to add a 2 pixel stroke to this also. It's going to be on the inside, white. That way you can kind of see the box as it's made. And click OK. And this one is ready to go. So we'll do File, Save As. And again, we want to make sure that we're saving it into our OneDrive Photoshop folder. Your period number, your last name. This is going to be 3D text. Save it as a Photoshop file. And then you will save it again as a JPEG file so that it can go on your Canvas portfolio.